You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. And most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests. John Reeves, Reef Point Real Estate. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And repeat offender David Meltzer, Sports One Marketing, is in the house. Welcome, David.
Yeah, thanks for having me. No place I'd rather be.
Glad to have you back with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And of course, we do have to celebrate today. There's a lot to celebrate today, and I'm not sure why they would have this celebration day after a week of Thanksgiving, but today is National Moose Day. And having beaten anorexia, I am ready for some more moose. Didn't have enough to eat this weekend. Can you imagine, David, can you imagine having a National Moose Day after Thanksgiving weekend?
It's incredible. I just see a moose as a horse with the horns. That's pretty close.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm looking at the picture here, and I think I'd rather eat this one than the horse with the horns. Just saying, moving right along today. What's going on in the markets? It's an interesting day. We're going to see what happens. I know overseas it's very interesting watching because it is, I don't know, I think I've got to laugh because if you don't laugh at some of the things going on overseas, you're going to cry. Paris, the president is in Paris working on the number one problem we have in America, climate change. It might be a little bit too cold, might be a little bit too warm. That's what the president is focused on right now. Although he is talking to Russia to see if he can plead with them. I think he's probably on his knees pleading with Mr. Putin to see if they'll ask Mr. Assad to leave. I wonder which one. I bet that, just a personal guess, my guess is that President Obama's term will be over well before Mr. Assad ever thinks about leaving office. Just my personal opinion. But we'll see where it goes from there. Watching the news also, did you check out what was going on in real estate this past week while we were taking a little bit of time to be thankful, spending some time with our families? FHFA did come out and make their announcement as to what they're going to do. And again, here in the state of confusion, we were not afforded the opportunity to get our way through there. The California Association of Realtors, they were trying to lobby for FHFA to increase the lending limits throughout the state. In San Diego, you will be excited to know that San Diego lending limits have increased. $18,000 coming up for 2016, going up to $580,750 will be the high balance limit, up from $562,350. No word yet on what's happening with FHA. No word yet on what is happening with the VA loans. We'll see what happens there. Sometimes they follow. Sometimes they just stick with where they are on their own. A lot of other communities, counties within the state were hoping to get their numbers increased as well. Hello, Riverside and San Bernardino. They're still at that 417,000. Sonoma County and Napa were the other ones within the state of California that were on the list. That's all that got increases this year, so that's where we stand on those. I'm going to chat a little bit sports and business of sports today, as well as we're going to chat a lot about real estate with our guests. But holy cow, did you see what happened in sports? I mean, talk about a weekend and a half in sports. I mean, we had a whole list of things that we were going to talk about, and I just threw them all away this morning.
I like that. There's so many other important things to talk about, like the Trojans.
The Trojans, they won. That was exciting.
Yeah, great win.
You know, I tell people all the time I have 3 favorite college football teams, and I share that proudly. USC, anybody playing UCLA, so that narrowed that down to USC this week, and anybody that plays against Notre Dame, although one of the most beautiful games I ever went to was USC playing Notre Dame in South Bend.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about October in South Bend. Unfortunately, they tied that year, so that was not an exciting way of ending that trip. But we did see a USC win. We saw Notre Dame lost. That's good stuff. We're going to have USC playing against Stanford for the Pac-12 championship. That'll be a fun time. But, I'm wondering, though, David, I don't know if this might help your business a little bit. There's so many injuries in the NFL. And I know we never wish anybody to get injured, but do you think the season's getting a little too long?
I don't. I think there's 2 problems. One, that we have to condition our tendons as well as our ligaments by practicing. And because of the rule changes, they're not conditioned correctly. And then the second thing is, and I think we've talked about this before, is the pure ATP power that's created by the muscles. It's what I call the Bo Jackson problem. His actual muscle and strength was too strong for his frame. And I think that has a lot to do with what's going on as well.
I was going to ask you about that, if it's the lack of practice, because, right now, what are we in, week 12? Just finishing week 12?
Yep.
And I think half those that could have, or if anybody ever wanted to play a Pro Bowl, which I'm not sure anybody in the NFL wants to play a Pro Bowl, but if anybody did, they all got hurt this last weekend.
It was crazy, isn't it?
Right? Roethlisberger, Gronkowski, Jimmy Graham, the list goes on.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch was hurt. It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. And it just goes to show you, though, I really kind of enjoyed to see Tom Brady know what it feels like to be Phillip Rivers.
I love that. I love that one. Yeah, I mean, holy cow! He lost a receiver? Brady's lost a receiver.
2 receivers is yeah, exactly. A receiver a week and his running back. Deion Lewis, no joke. He had nobody to throw to, and to get as close as he did to winning last night was Phillip Rivers-esque.
Yeah, well, at least Phillip Rivers got a win yesterday.
Amazing, yeah.
Right? They got, what is that, the first time in, 6 or 7
6 weeks? Yeah, six weeks.
Good, that's tough. We're going to talk more about that. Kobe Bryant retires.
Oof.
That's, it's going to create a lot of excitement. Probably the only reason anybody's going to go to a Laker game this year is to say goodbye to Kobe. That's another one right there. We'll see what happens there. We've got to chat about that. Some other economic news. Obviously, we're seeing the national price of gasoline. Boy, isn't that a nice thing? Gas at $2.04 a gallon is the nationwide average, down a little bit. Here in the state of confusion, $2.69.7 a gallon. So what's that, about 65 cents a gallon that we get to pay in taxes extra? And I was listening to a report from the transportation people in Placer County up in Northern California talking about the fact that the gas and transportation tax hasn't increased in decades. Well, Sacramento keeps putting other taxes on there. I wonder why we feel it, but they're not getting the benefit of it, and the roads are not getting any of the benefit of it. Unbelievable right there, too. But why aren't people spending that money? That's going to be the issue that we're going to be looking at as to, is there anybody excited about this economy? And we see this morning the Chicago PMI Regional Manufacturing Index declined sharply to 48.7, and I'm sure that had a major effect on the stock market, right? Oh, no, it didn't. Stock market is still down only about 50 points today. If we would see half these things that are going on, again, I'm telling you, I hope that you have some sort of a defensive position. Are you selling covered calls? I don't give stock advice anymore. I used to have those licenses, so I can't tell you that covered calls are very, very safe as an investment. I won't say that to you. but you might want to have a defensive position if you are exposed to the stock market. Just because they're going to pull the rug out at some point in time, will you be safe? That will be the question. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, my favorite loan in the whole world, my favorite group of people to help with real estate. We're going to chat about that. That's the veterans. We couldn't be here speaking as we are, telling everybody our feelings on what the president's misaligned agenda is if it wasn't for our veterans and the work that they do and the sacrifices. So we're going to talk a lot about that this morning. We're also going to talk more about sports. My passion there. I love watching sports. And you can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number. It's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any one of our broadcasts, yes, you can see them, RonSiegelRadio.com archives, or on YouTube, Ron Siegel 1. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Our house in the middle of our street.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 01869. 9452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by the VIP Hero program. Love that program because it does say thank you to our military, our first responders, teachers, nurses. And the best way to say thank you beyond saying the words thank you is giving them a discount when they go to buy a house. Today we want to chat a little bit rent versus buy. Why would I bring that up during the Word on Wealth segment? Well, the Joint Center for Housing Studies, Harvard University, explains households must consume housing whether they own or not even accounting for more favorable tax treatment of owning. Homeowners pay debt service to pay down their own principal, while households that pay rent pay down the principal of the landlord plus a rate of return. Now, here's another chart, and I'm going to post this one on Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. The increasing gap in family wealth. Think about this. 2010 family net worth of a renter, on average, $5,400. The net worth of somebody owning a home, $187,000. In 2013, the renter still had a $5,400 net worth. $5,400 net worth. But the net worth of the homeowner, $195,400. And projected for this year, 2015, well, the renter, their net worth is projected to drop to $5,000. The net worth of a homeowner, $225,000. Bottom line, whether you're looking for a primary residence for the first time or are considering a vacation home on the shore, beachfront, you can tell that this story was written by an East Coast person. They call it the shore. Owning might make more sense than renting with home values and interest rates projected to climb. That is the Word on Wealth segment, again, brought to you by the VIP Hero program. So let's talk about buying or renting with our guest, John Reeves, Reef Point Real Estate. Welcome, John.
Thank you for having me, Ron. Great to be here.
I'm glad to have you with us. So I bet I can guess, being that you're in the real estate environment and a retired Marine.
Oh, not retired.
Not retired, active.
Nope. Got out after 10 years of being a Marine. Left in 2010 after my last trip to Afghanistan and had my first son. I said, you know what, this is it. I'm cashing in and I'm going to get out and do my own thing.
So what is the terminology if you're not retired?
You're just former.
Former, okay.
Former Marine.
Former Marine, okay. I got to make sure we get that right. I don't want to insult anybody. But
no insult. None taken, please.
Do want to honor you and say thank you because obviously those of us that enjoy the good life in America couldn't do it if it wasn't for the men and women of our armed services. So
well, and we appreciate the tax dollars, Ron, so thank you.
There we go. You know something, everything you get, boy, is entitled. So let's chat a little bit about real estate, because one of the things that bothers me I guess there's a lot that bothers me that our government does. Anybody that listens to the broadcast on a regular basis knows that I'm a fan of small government. But the men and women coming back, they seem to be thrown into society and just dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And go find a house. And they don't they don't share with the men and women coming back that, boy, there's an opportunity. They go out and look for a rent, right, which requires a lease and a security deposit and credit scores and convincing somebody that it's a good tenant, because first come back, maybe don't even have a job.
Yep.
So there's opportunities, there's options.
I think I'll go back to what you said a few moments ago about, everyone who has a house, you must consume. You either are a renter or you're a buyer. That's all there is to it. You either rent or you own. You either pay someone else's mortgage or you pay your own mortgage.
Exactly.
One of the things that the government, I'm going to say one of the few things our government gets right is the VA loan. It's one of the few things that our government really hits it on the head. You can, right here in San Diego County, buy a home right now for $562,250, no down payment. So it's a great opportunity if you are in the military. It is a great opportunity if you're a veteran. One of the things about housing in the military is you're going to have to live somewhere. Throughout your career, if you stay in, you're going to move throughout your entire career. Why not own a piece of America that you serve and fight for? And if you think about it, you can really build a very, very solid real estate portfolio by buying a home every 3 to 4 years at every duty station around the country. Then you convert it into a rental. Now you have passive income. And with some of the things going on now with Airbnb, pillow some of the ancillary services that take care of short-term rentals. We have veterans now making $2,000, $3,000 over their mortgage. So it can become a really, really great passive cash flow device if utilized correctly. There are solutions in any market, like you said. Housing prices have gone up drastically, but there's still opportunity there for the veteran, especially the fact that you can buy with no down payment here in San Diego County. It's incredible.
Well, I love that because, and you know something, nobody talks about what you were just talking about. And I guess it becomes an issue that when you're outside the forest, sometimes you can't see what's going on. I think about the fact when the men and women get out and they come home, that obviously the VA loan is, you're right, the best loan on the market.
Yep.
By far, there is no better loan. Men and women are entitled to it. But if you buy a new house at each duty station and keep it, right, there's a great opportunity to build a portfolio while you're serving.
Right.
You got stable income.
Right.
I mean, even though the employer's always in the red, that employer's always in debt, they're going to still pay the bill.
Yep. Very true.
Right? I mean, so you know that check is coming, and maybe the Airbnb, there's property managers out there that can manage the property for you.
Yep.
Right? So you can build a portfolio. Then when you retire or...
You have the multiple streams of income. You've got your military retirement, and you've got real estate passive income coming in. My own journey into real estate started when I was an active duty Marine. After Iraq, I got back in 2007, went to buy a house. Very disappointed with the real estate agent that I used. Very disappointed. So when I went on to buy a second house, I used a different agent.
I was going to say, you probably didn't use the same agent.
Very disappointed once again. So I decided if I'm going to continue to buy houses, I may as well get licensed myself because I can do a better job of this. And now we've grown a team of almost all veterans or military spouses as our agents. And they do a phenomenal job taking care and serving those who serve because they understand what it is to serve. They truly get it.
Well, they get it, and they can also speak from a different perspective. Like you just spoke about, I don't know what I don't know because I haven't been there, right? I don't know what the military expectations are. I wouldn't know how to manage a piece of property as a Marine because I haven't been, right? You can talk to the fact that, if you're stationed in San Diego, buy a piece of property in San Diego, with your VA entitlement, with your VA loan, and you can move on and, if you get moved to the East Coast, now you can buy a piece of property there.
Well, Ron, one of the great things about San Diego, if you look at the topography of San Diego, it's a very, very finite amount of real estate. Our northern border is Camp Pendleton in the mountains. Our western border is the ocean. Our southern border, Mexico, and of course our eastern border.
Well, you can pass through that one without any problem.
It's true. Either way. But at our eastern border is another string of mountains, so we really have a finite amount of real estate. We call that constant volume with ever-increasing pressure because populations continue to go up. One of the great things about San Diego is our rental market is propped up on what we call basic allowance for housing, or BAH, which is what the government pays military members who are living out in town. Well, every year that goes up by a few percentage points. So if you think about it, every year our government props up the rental market here. So if you buy and own a piece of property and you move away, rents are going to continue to go up as they have every single year here in San Diego County. It can be a phenomenal long-term investment if you posture it correctly, which it's about using the right lender who understands the VA loan and using the right real estate team who understands how to use the VA loan, how to look at rents before you buy, how to look at short-term rentals, how to manage a property. There's something you have to do.
Well, the big part of what you're saying there is something that very few people think about in real estate. So many people, when they buy a piece of real estate, all they think about is their home. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're not thinking about it as a plan, right? You buy, especially, you talk about a 20-year-old, 22-year-old coming, in the military. They're not thinking about retirement, right? And that home, over years and years, can be the retirement plan, and can afford. But it's all about developing a plan, talking to somebody like yourself who says, "Okay, I understand this. We're going to get you the first home, and then we're going to go to a next home, and how to make that work." Planning, when you talk about the rents.
It's all about strategy, Ron.
Right.
When we sit down with all our military or veteran clients, we say, what is your long-term strategy? Do you have one? Because if you don't, this is what you should be thinking of. It's not about what this home is worth. It's about what it's going to rent out for when you move away, because you are buying an investment. You're not going to live in this home forever. It's a 3 to 5 year solution at best. When you move away, is it going to make money or take money? And we're always going to create the solution for the veteran that it makes money.
And then when they go to the next stop, can they do they have to get another VA loan?
Well, so there's a couple options here. In this market, you can use multiple VA loans because our cap is so high. It's 562, 350. Or you can refinance out of one VA and then use a conventional on another one. There's all kinds of different scenarios. It just depends on the situation and the scenario for the individual veteran.
And the whole idea there again, remember, even in San Diego, when you go 20 years in the military, buy 4, 5, 6 houses throughout all these different stops, you can still use that VA loan even to buy $1 million house or $2 million house in La Jolla. Not going to be 100%, but you can still use that VA loan, and it's a great, great product, but you got to know how to use it. And we're going to chat more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're also going to talk more about sports. Yeah, somebody got knocked in the head this weekend, and I wonder we saw what happened in St. Louis with the Ram quarterback. Pittsburgh quarterback now? We'll talk about that one as well. You can reach us anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit card service or credit card in your pocket. Yet, are you paying the right amounts? Let me ask you this. Have you got your credit report checked? Maybe you're paying way too much on that interest rate. CreditSanitizer.com, they have the answers for those problems, so check them out. We will chat with you about those further. Real perks and pitfalls of store credit cards. That is our subject today. Interesting. Store credit cards. Are you using those? Are you using them for the right purpose? Are you getting yourself in trouble over them? That's the question I would ask you. There are some benefits to the store credit cards. Sometimes you walk into the store and they're going to give you an extra 10 or 15% off just for opening a credit card on that given date. But it's a trap. Be real careful of that, especially that trap of the 12-month interest-free. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you ever heard of a free lunch? Doesn't happen very often. Their idea on those is for you to miss that last payment so they can charge you interest all the way back, and it's usually at 25 or 30%. Be careful. Now, if you're a type of individual that's extremely well disciplined, yeah, you can do those things. You can make benefit of those. But again, have the money on hand, have a plan to pay it, and do so, and don't get hit with that deferred interest at the end. It's a real trap, and be careful and make sure it's all part of your budget. Don't use it just to say, well, it's 12 months free interest and I'll figure it out as we go. That is a recipe for disaster. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Speaking about disaster, I guess I get myself in really, really serious trouble here as we broadcast from our flagship station here in San Diego. Steve, I missed it. I missed that opportunity, so go ahead and you can harass me right here on air about San Diego State. Go ahead.
You missed the fact that San Diego State is playing for the Mountain West Championship this Saturday versus Air Force.
Okay, San Diego State against Air Force. I'm not Mountain West. Do they have a? Do they go to a bowl championship game or anything like that?
They might. They might. They did. They have in the past. They did last year.
It's pretty exciting, though. I think now I'll probably get myself in more trouble here, especially being in San Diego, being the flag waver that I am. You got to love the idea of a military school in a championship game, right? I mean,
sure.
San Diego State, okay, we'll root for San Diego State, but...
Good choice. Undefeated. First time in Mountain West, first time for the school in the Mountain West.
Okay, so I guess I've been slapped. I get it. Okay, well, I'll still root for USC. Maybe USC will play San Diego State.
Could happen.
I don't know, USC seems to falter a lot, but... Let's get on with our conversation. Being that I blew that, I appreciate you bringing that to my attention so that I wouldn't have too many people upset with me. David.
Yes, sir.
USC, though. We can go back. Well, even though we talked about I got to still go back to USC. They hired a coach.
Yes, a great coach, actually, and a great choice. So Helton will be their new coach, and very excited. I think he has a great balanced way of attacking the team, and the players certainly are behind him.
But you know, I wonder sometimes, though, because players can be mighty fickle, right? And obviously the players that are there today, hopefully a coach will last more than a year at USC right now. Right? I mean, that's what they say that Kessler's played for 4 head coaches now?
Yep.
Yeah, not bad.
Right? I mean...
I was shocked that they actually hired him. I thought they were going to try to pass and go for another flagship hire. I think it's a solid move on the part of USC.
I do too, but what about from the recruiting standpoint?
You know, there's more about recruiting than just the head coach, and I think you have past players. You have USC itself, which is a bug light. Just bringing kids onto that campus with the tradition, the way they have it set up. It's a machine in recruiting. And the truth is, UCLA, USC, even the schools
UC
up north.
Who?
Exactly.
Talking about the junior college right there in LA.
There's plenty of talent in California, Texas, and Florida. And what you do with the talent is the difference of these teams, including San Diego State. And that's why I was hoping Les Miles would leave LSU and come out here to San Diego State, because I think with the right coach and the right talent, that San Diego State would be competing for a national bowl game.
Well, and we saw that with Brady Hoke when he was at San Diego State. He did very, very well. He just couldn't make it when he took the transition to a top-tier institution. He just couldn't make that shift up.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's as many NFL players coming from San Diego State
that's true.
as USC or UCLA, unbelievably enough.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess
But USC has the most first-round draft picks of any college. They
do.
They are a pro builder there at USC.
Thanks to running backs and quarterbacks.
Yep.
That's probably why I think I just saw that for the first time ever they went over $100 million in revenue.
For the football
USC,
program.
For the football program.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's serious. And they'll probably make more net profit, because I would have ventured to guess. Now, I didn't see what the numbers are, but I don't think they're going to pay Helton what they paid Sarkisian or what they might have had to pay Chip Kelly if he were going to come here.
Yeah, no doubt. He will have a second tier Division I top 25 salary, but it will be a second tier because he doesn't have the brand, which is also a great choice for Pat Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pat Hayden needs to get a little retribution there or rebuild himself.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of past salaries that they're still paying as well.
They've got the money, though. I mean, they are bringing the money in. So
it's USC.
It is still US. Well, they should have a business school there to understand these things, right?
They do.
So David, I've been sharing. I'm going to ask you a technical question, very technical, from a perspective of ignorance. That's me. So here's my thought. I see all these concussions in the NFL, and it's obviously a serious issue. I am of the belief that if they went back to some of the less protective gear, maybe not going all the way back to the leather helmet, but if they went back to something along those lines where the person delivering the blow might be inclined to feel as much pain as the one receiving, they might not be as inclined to go try and hit and hurt people as much.
Absolutely true. If they change the equipment so that the hitter would feel as much as the person being hit, that there won't be. Now, concussions will always exist. You know, there's actually as many concussions at the high school level in cheerleading as there is in high school football.
Wait, back up. I never heard that one before.
Oh, yeah. In fact, it's the most dangerous sport is high school cheerleading, even more than pole vaulting. So the head movement and the repetitive trauma is really what causes the long-term effect of concussion. So the best thing that we can do beyond even the equipment is look at baseline testing and understanding where and there's some great. I'm on the board of a company called Sports Brain, and what they have is a very inexpensive tool, a handheld tool that any coach, Pop Warner, high school or college, can utilize to not only baseline test, but there's applications out there that allow you to use internet doctors to assess. And so the precaution of this repetitive trauma is really going to change the future of concussions and the damages that they call. In fact, Warren Moon, my business partner, he's actually working to help the players with this $1 billion settlement. So one of our big initiatives is transition services, as you know, transitioning high school kids to college kids not only to professional sports, but business. And so Warren now is helping the retired players make sure that they go through all the criteria, because it's very stringent, of how to recover their damages from the settlement. And so protecting those players. So if any of those NFL retired players are out there, make sure you call us at Sports One Marketing. Warren would be happy to help you.
Is there anything that they can do from the standpoint of recovery from that, or is it just recovery of money? I mean, recovery of their livelihood or their life.
Right. So not only is it damages from economic standpoint, but it's also care.
Okay, good.
So making sure that they go to a certified physician, that they get a baseline test, because
wasn't it too late for a baseline test once you've retired?
No, because it's not at all, because the brain changes. And so even you want to have that documented. So if you're a 45-year-old player and you have a
45-year-old player,
ex-player, retired player. Well, no. Warren played till he's 44, and Tom Brady's going to play till he's 50. He says, and Hasselbeckster is doing fine at 40.
Absolutely.
But if you're a retired 45-year-old player and you get a baseline test now, and there's no ill effects, it doesn't mean that some of these effects won't happen later on. And so the settlement as it stands right now, it's still up for appeal, would cover you at 50, 55, or 60 if there was some detriment to your baseline status.
Now, I got an interesting question, being that you know more of the players and ex-players or retired players. Are they going to... We saw what happened with the Rams a couple of weeks ago, their quarterback's falling over and they still let him play. So obviously the concussion protocol didn't take effect on that one. But yesterday we saw that Ben Roethlisberger took himself out of a game.
Yep.
I'm wondering, is there going to be some repercussions from the players saying, are you giving up on us because not putting it all out there on the field? And I want to talk to you about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Remember, you can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
Attention homeowner 62 and older. Do you worry if you can afford to keep your home? Are you concerned about paying all your monthly expenses? Or do you simply wish you could live a better retirement? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may qualify for a program that can help. It's called FHA Reverse Mortgage. It's insured by the federal government. You'll receive tax-free money. You aren't required to make any monthly mortgage payments, and you still own your home. Siegel Lending Team is a local leader in FHA reverse mortgages. Call free to get your free reverse mortgage guide, free custom quote. And when you call now, you can get all your questions answered by local experts. There is no monthly mortgage payment, and tax-free money you can use for healthcare expenses, home improvements, or just live a better retirement with peace of mind. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-1990 to get your free reverse mortgage guide and quote. You'll also find them on the web at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Call 800-306-1990 now.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Wake up with the Broken Yolk Cafe, San Diegans' favorite place for breakfast. From Eggs Benedict, Nutella crepes, omelets you design to mimosas. Broken Yolk has 10 San Diego locations for homemade breakfast and lunch.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment being brought to you today by the real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio, the area trusted professionals, real estate. If you want a true value of your home, you're not going to find it on Zillow. You're not going to find it on Truly. I just saw the other day, I just saw newer results on the Zillow website that they're going to be 95% of the time, they'll be within about 6% accuracy. So that brings you down to what, a B plus right there? Just saying, and it's your biggest investment. Why are you not getting the true value by simply texting PAIR, P-E-A-R, Professional Equity Analysis Review, to 79564 within the sound of my voice? You will get a professional equity analysis review, a 10-minute conversation with a real estate professional who can then give you the value of your home in your neighborhood because they're there. Reasons to be thankful for a great real estate agent. Well, they're not going to always, the great ones, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. They'll help get your house ready for sale. They know you're juggling work, kids, and other parts of your life. They're going to be there for you to take care of the real estate portion. They'll send you helpful data about your home long after you've closed, again, if they're a professional. Now, you're going to get the part-timers that are transactional. You're not going to hear from a transactional real estate person when you text PEAR to 79564. I want the ones that are going to do, just as you were hearing us talk with John Reeves about earlier, it's a long-term relationship. It's about developing a plan, developing a strategy. And here's one that many people don't think about. A professional real estate agent has an inside track on homes that are either on the market or coming on the market because they're connected. They're out there talking to people on a regular basis. So here's just a couple of resources for you, and they're free. If you want to text and get the value of your home, the Professional Equity Analysis Report, PAIR, P-E-A-R, text that to 79564. And if you're contemplating selling your home, we've got our Fall Home Sellers Guide available. Just for a few more days, we'll be coming out with a new one. But right now, if you text HSG, Home Sellers Guide, I'm a simple guy, I can't figure out any of these other things. Text HSG to 79564, and we will get you a copy, free copy, of Ron Siegel Radio, the things to consider when you're selling your home. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. So, John, let me ask you a simple question.
Let's do it.
I just went through those 5 different concepts. I bet those were part of the reason that you got into real estate is because you ran across real estate agents that didn't think about half of those things.
Still run into them every single day in the industry, but yes, absolutely.
It's amazing how many people are out there. I mean, one of the things that I am not thrilled with, because I do have a real estate license. I don't use it. I don't buy or sell real estate for anything other than myself. But the barrier to entry to get a real estate license.
Let's talk about that, Ron. 3 months to get a real estate license. In the state of California, it takes 18 months to get certified to cut a head of hair. $10 haircut, 18 months. $10 million home sale, 3 months. There is a fundamental problem there. Barrier of entry is way too low. I long for the day when you have to have a 4-year or a 5-year degree to get a real estate license, because that will trim the fat. It will get rid of the part-timers, the soccer moms out there, and it will just get
and
it
we
in
like
the
soccer
hand.
moms.
We love soccer moms,
right?
But they should be soccer moms,
right?
Let's not try to sell, homes.
And I'll suggest this, because my wife might be listening, that the soccer mom has a much tougher job than we do.
100%,
right?
110%. My wife takes care of 4. She has a way tougher job than John Reeves does.
Yeah,
but she doesn't try to sell real estate. I don't try to take care of 4 kids. We each know what our swim lanes are. We stay in them, and that's the benefit of having a professional full-time real estate broker or agent to help you out. Is they are a professional and they do it every day, every way possible.
And in any industry, in any realm of life, I mean, people that are trying. I have no problem with people having part-time jobs. I mean, my son has 3 of them. This is a part-time economy now. But the idea here is when you get into something as important and as high value as someone's house or someone's mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I want somebody that's doing this full time, that's studying their craft, that understands the market. Right? They're not just out there being able to, fill out a template.
Right, because they could upsell a bloomin' onion at Outback Steakhouse. Now they're selling homes. It just doesn't work. It's your livelihood. It's the biggest asset you have. It's like if you were to go get your heart transplant, would you want a part-time heart surgeon or a full-time heart surgeon? If you're flying from San Diego to Boston, you want a part-time pilot or would you like a full-time pilot? These are all things that are about your livelihood, your life. It's your biggest investment. Put it in the hands of a professional who knows how to do it and does it well, and they have a proven track record.
And you hit on several things there right there, because some of them are the issue that how do you find that person that has a proven track record? So many people are looking and they say, well, I see they've got a lot of signs out. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're a great real estate agent, right? They can buy signs. They're about $10 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And they can pay some other part-timer to put them out for them.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean they can do anything. They can negotiate a transaction, get it to the closing line.
I will always say the best way to find a professional is through a referral. Like your area professionals, it's finding a personal referral or a friend of a friend, and then just interview them. You don't just take the first agent you sit in front of. You want to interview multiple agents and see what they have to show you. And ask for proven track records. There should be questions you ask them. They're interviewing for a job. When you interview someone in your business, you always do a job interview. You ask them specific questions about the job. Same thing when you're interviewing an agent. You should ask them certain set of questions to make sure they know what they're doing, they have a track record, and that they're the best for that position.
And you want to make sure that they're not yes people.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't want somebody that's saying, well, Ron, what do you want to list your house for? Okay, I want to list it for $900.
What if you went to a doctor and said, am I okay? And he said, what, do you think you're okay? And yeah, absolutely, you're fine.
Yeah, what drugs do you want?
That's not going to save your life. I mean, this is the biggest investment you're ever gonna have for most people. Get a professional who's going to tell you the truth, not what you want to hear, because sometimes what we want to hear is not the truth. The truth does hurt sometimes, but the truth will always set you free.
Right, and it's important. I mean, you really need that. And again, I'm going to share with you, I share this on a regular basis. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. Anywhere in the sound of my voice, I know agents, and I also know how to get the statistics to find out, are they walking the walk? Are they talking the talk? Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? Did they go? Are they getting training? Those are all issues, and I'll put you in touch with John Reeves right here in San Diego, doing a great job helping the veterans. I love that focus, John.
Well, we serve those who serve. We believe it. We live it. We love it. I was a veteran, or I was an active duty guy who bought a house. Miserable experience. I will right that wrong the rest of my life as long as I have air in my lungs. I will continue to help veterans because I am one, and I know it. I've been in their shoes, walk the walk, and I talk the talk.
Great, and going out there educating, I like that idea.
Educate, empower, and engage. We've all heard that. That is exactly what we do on a daily basis.
Now, what you need to do is some of the seminars and things you get to. We got to get David Meltzer over there. He's got this book called Connected to Goodness.
Yeah,
one of my favorite books. I don't know how many I've given away, David. I'm not sure. I might be the biggest buyer of books next to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So let me ask you a question, though. We talked a lot about football. But there is another story in Southern California going on right now. We talked about USC, and we talked about the Chargers actually won a game, and we talked about Phillip Rivers and a couple of things. But I think the big story now in sports, Kobe Bryant.
Oh, yeah. I share my Laker seats with one of the most beautiful women inside and out, Diane Cannon. I sit between Diane Cannon and Magic Johnson.
Oh, what a shame!
Yeah,
someone's got to do it, right?
You got it. Yeah, when she invited me to do that, it was a great privilege. But to watch Kobe fight with Father Time, and no matter who we are, how great we are, we see it from Michael Jordan to Magic Johnson, now to Kobe Bryant, and I think we see it with Peyton Manning. That eventually the truth comes out, and the truth vibrates the fastest, and no matter how great you are, sooner or later your material being, your body will break down, and we have to call it quits. So Kobe retiring in a gracious manner, releasing it on the Players Tribune, the private network, I thought, and he left a letter last night at the game. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that there was a letter, and I saw that whatever his name is this week, Meta Ron Artest.
Yeah.
The old Ron Artest. I don't know what he calls him.
Meta-free or whatever.
Right. But he had Kobe sign it for autograph, his copy of the letter.
Yeah, I'm going to get mine autographed as well.
Talk about a tribute.
Yeah, it's an amazing. He has an amazing career, and I think it's cool that he came out and realized as this season started to progress that Father Time is winning, and that he's going to leave at the top of his game.
Yeah, well, I think it's great that he's doing it as opposed to like last year when he was hurt, or the year before when he was hurt, the year before that when he was hurt.
Yeah, the last 4 years.
Right, but I mean,
he did get his $42 extra million, so you can't blame him.
I don't blame him at all. But I hope that he doesn't need the money. I hope he's not playing because he needs money. I mean,
I doubt that.
He's had one heck of a career. The thing that is so troubling sometimes you watch players is some of the guys that are out there now couldn't have carried his socks, in his prime, and now they're looking like, he's not Kobe.
No, he's not Kobe. He knows he's not Kobe. I think now that he's putting an end to this, you'll see elevated Kobe, but still restricted by his physical being and his age.
Amazing information. It's going to be fun watching him as he retires. Obviously, some of us got to watch Wilt Chamberlain retire and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar retire, talking about how old we are. But it's going to be fun watching. Bradley, don't say anything about He probably doesn't even know who these people are.
I got shoes older than Bradley.
Exactly. Hey, be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A very big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. If you want to meet any of our guests, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
XEPN 700 AM Balikan.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Call Quicken Loans now to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
This year, take the worry out of holiday shipping by visiting the packing and shipping experts at the UPS store. For an independently owned